Hey, I'm Scooby-Doo, and this is what happened last week. This is probably the least amount of time that I've played WoW since I came back in the spring. I spent a lot of time last week cleaning up my home, and I just kept thinking this is not going to take that long, and then 3 or 4 hours later, I'm pooped and just not doing anything for the rest of the night. But if cleaning had purses, I would have definitely had some legendary ones in there, because I cleaned the hell out of my place. But because of that, I didn't get a whole lot done. I didn't do any Mythic Plus. I didn't get into the Heroic Raid. I don't even think I did all of my 8 tier 8 delves. I think I did like 5 or 6 maybe. So my Warrior and my Hunter both are staying at the same item level that they were at last week, so 622.5 and 588.43 respectively. I did do some 20th anniversary events like the world bosses the one time just to get the extra 10% bonus. I did BRD as well in LFR, which seems to be a little bit easier, not as punishing, so that's nice. I was doing the secrets around the world, so I think I have 3 of the 6 celebration crates I have to hand back. I think I bought like 5 of the class attires and I have like another 5 or so left, so I should be getting most of those this week and then probably the remaining ones next week. I did find it pretty funny that the weekly quest to do 5 time walking dungeons rewarded 1 time warped badge. I had to do a double take on that, and I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna do that, Chief. With the delves I was running this week, I wanted to see if Bran would continue getting experience in lower tiered bountiful delves. So I tried some lower difficulties and he wasn't getting experience, so that's unfortunate because I kind of just want to run through those bountiful delves really quick just to get him experience and then just unlock the key or the trove at the end. But it looks like I have to do tier 8s or higher for him to get that experience, which isn't awful. They're not as long as they used to, but they are still definitely longer than they would be at tier 1. And at this point, I don't need the gear from them. I just want the achievement to get Bran to 60 and then the achievement to get the 500 bountiful chests unlocked. So for the time being, I'll continue running the tier 8s to get Bran to 60, but as soon as he does, I'm switching to tier 1s and just spamming as many of those as I can per week to get all of my coffer keys used. Despite the busy week, I was able to do one more tier 11 delve, which was Kriegvalls. This is the one that was last week giving me some trouble, and it still was giving me trouble this week. It was kind of annoying, but I slowly went through it and I was able to finish it. I think the delves that have the candles are just so annoying, probably the most frustrating to deal with. I think there's like 1 or 2 more of those left, and I'm not looking forward to doing them on tier 11. One of the things I was working on over the weekend actually was the BFA meta achievement requirements. Blizzard announced that they're releasing something for that in the 11.0.7 patch, which I'm actually really excited about. I think that's a great thing for them to go back in expansions and just add more expansion-wide meta achievements. So I was going through and seeing what achievements I did and did not have, and it looks like the majority of them I do have. I think there was like 9 or 10 that I didn't. Of the ones that I didn't, not a whole lot of them are very grindy. I think the big ones like the Nazjatar meta achievements and the Mechagon one are done and over with, so that's nice. I have a couple of Island Expedition achievements left, which I was doing some of those on Sunday. The ones that I have left aren't that bad, it's just I need to get specific expeditions to come up, which is really annoying. I know that you can solo queue for them, but I'm hoping Blizzard makes it so that you can pick just whichever expedition you want to queue for. I don't know yet if it's daily, bi-weekly, or weekly that the expeditions change. If it's daily, I get this not that bad, but if it's bi-weekly or weekly, that just sucks. And same with Warfronts, I do have a couple of achievements left to do there, and I think that not being able to solo queue for those is really annoying. So I'm hoping that either before 11.0.7 comes out, they release that functionality, or with that patch, they let you solo queue for Warfronts, because we're like 6 years past when that was current content, and I think it's time that we can just solo queue for those. But even if I don't get it all done before the patch comes out and get the meta achievement done on day 1, I think I'll be close enough that it won't take too long after the patch goes out. Speaking of achievements, actually I started at 41,885 points and I'm ending at 110 points more, so 41,995. I'm kind of annoyed because I learned that there are some BFA achievements that are for Alliance only or for Horde only. And for example, if I'm on my Horde character, I can't see the Alliance achievements and vice versa. But also, those achievements don't count towards my total. So for example, I was missing a couple of Alliance achievements. I logged on an Alliance character, I got those achievements and had 20 more points on my Alliance. And I logged on my Warrior and he not only didn't get the 20 points, but those achievements weren't even showing in the achievement summary. I thought that with this expansion, achievements were just gonna be account-wide, everything. I know they said there's a few that won't count, but like these, I didn't think were gonna be one of them. I'm still waiting for the day that all achievements are account-wide. I don't know why there's a discrepancy in there at all. I don't know what like the holdup is on that, but it's just, it's really annoying because like I don't know how many points I actually have. But anyway, I started by getting the Classy Dresser achievement, which is to get the 2 anniversary class sets. I got Photo Op, which is to use 10 different portals in the anniversary event area. I got Dornagal to Renown 25, so that's all of the War Within reps now maxed out. I finished up Champions Tour, which is to complete all of the War Within PvP world quests 5 times each. There's one more achievement I have left for the PvP meta achievement that gives the title and the mount, and I think I should be able to finish that this month. I got Flying in Style, which is to buy all of the customizations for the Delve mount. I got Delver's Bounty, which is to loot 10 hidden troves. I got pretty lucky with these maps compared to other people. I think some people had like 100 Delves done and they had 1 map. So I was pretty happy that my luck was decent on that. And then 2 of the BFA meta achievements that I was working on were Everything Old is New Again, which is just collecting some objects out in Justvar, as well as Inteldrassil's Shadow, which is just to complete a questline to get a Night Elf customization. And then last but not least, I finally got the Friends in Feathers achievement. I don't know if anyone's noticed this, but I'm pretty sure since I started making these weekly videos, I've been tracking this achievement. And for this achievement, you just have to complete a world quest in Emerald Dream and rescue some NPCs during it. Kept waiting and waiting and waiting, and finally this past weekend it showed up and I finally finished it. And that was the last achievement that I needed in the quests tab for Dragonflight, so those are now all done. So like I said, not a whole lot done last week, but I'm hoping this week I get to play a little bit more. The goal this week will just be the same as always. I'd like to jump into some Heroic Raid, do some more Mythic Pluses. I would like to get at least 110 done, but we'll see. At the very least, some 8s and 9s. And I'd like to get at least 1 more Tier 11 Delve done. With achievements, my focus this week is probably going to be more so on the BFA meta ones. I spent a couple hours on Sunday doing island expeditions over and over and over again, so probably more of that in my future. In other news, I watched a few things this past week because it was Halloween week. There was obviously some more horror movies, so I started with watching Afraid. It felt a little bit rushed, but it's a terrifying movie about what I think will be the reality of AI. This family gets an AI home assistant and just things go bad. I'm terrified of AI, and this movie was the scariest thing I've watched. I watched Mr. Crockett, which is about a children's show host who seemingly helps kids who are in bad situations, but he does so by basically killing their parents and then kidnapping them. It was an interesting premise. I enjoyed the movie overall, but it kinda dragged in parts, so it wasn't the greatest. I finished watching The Haunting of Hill House show, which everyone for the longest time has been telling me this show is amazing, and I think it was just awful. It's about a haunted house and a family that stays in there and like the ghosts of the house, basically. The house is the most interesting part of the show, and it gets like barely featured at all. And every episode was just so excruciatingly boring. In the second half of the show, it got a little bit more interesting and definitely a little bit more creepier. Once I started noticing people in the background or like statues moving their heads and following characters, I became a lot more interested in watching the background of the show rather than the show itself. But other than that, I have no idea how anyone was praising this show to me. It was just so bad. This past weekend, I started watching Christmas movies because love Christmas. Started with watching Noel. In the movie, the role of Santa is passed down in the family through generations. The son that's next in line just doesn't really connect with that role and doesn't really want to be Santa. His sister suggests he takes a vacation and instead he just skips town. And it's just about getting him back and like, saving Christmas essentially. I liked it. It was heartwarming. I would definitely rewatch it again. And then lastly, I finished watching season 1 of Demon Slayer. It's a show where if a demon bites you, you become a demon. So this kid's family gets killed by demons except for his sister who lives, but she's not like this crazy demon who wants to kill humans. She still has a little bit of humanity left, but he wants to save his sister and find a cure for it, and in the process has to kill demons to do so. I think it was okay. There was some stuff that dragged, but there was also some stuff that was really awesome. The one thing that was funny though, that I think a lot of animes are guilty of, is just characters calling out their finishing moves. Like in the show, it's like water breathing, fourth form, steady hands, ultimate power, go! Like, I just don't know why that's a thing, and it just makes me laugh every time I hear it. But that is everything that happened to me this past week, and all that I wanted to talk about. Let me know what's going on in your world. What are you doing in game? How is your vaults? What are you enjoying? What are you not liking? Let me know what's going on outside of the game, whether it's in life, in entertainment, or anything else. If you're already subscribed to this channel, I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. If you're not yet subscribed and you like this video or any of my others, if you could at least consider subscribing, that would be great. Thanks for watching. I love you lots. Have yourself a fantastic week. I'll talk at you next week. Bye.